The 40-hour workweek is a relic of the industrial age designed to keep you on a financial treadmill. If your income is still tied to your clock, you are essentially trading your life for a shrinking paycheck. True freedom comes from owning digital leverage that works while you sleep. Today, we are breaking down 7 scalable assets that function as your tireless, sovereign employees. Now, this is not another promise of effortless passive income. Every valuable asset demands work, judgment, and maintenance. The difference is what happens after the work is done. When you sell an hour, you get paid once. When you build an asset, the same hour can keep producing value for months or even years. That is the shift we are looking for. From repeatedly performing the work to owning the system that delivers the result. A sovereign digital asset should pass 4 tests. You control it. It can serve more people without requiring the same increase in labor. It continues creating value when you step away. And it can survive the decline of any single client, platform, or trend. With that standard in mind, here are the 7 assets worth building. Asset number 1 is an intellectual property flywheel. Most people underestimate what they already know because their knowledge feels ordinary to them. But if you have repeatedly solved a specific problem, you may already possess the raw material for an asset. The mistake is packaging that knowledge into one course and expecting it to sell forever. A single course is a product. A flywheel is an ecosystem. One useful idea can become a newsletter series, a practical guide, a workshop, a course, a paid membership, a certification program, or licensed material that another company pays to distribute. Each format reaches a different type of customer while being powered by the same underlying expertise. Imagine that you develop a reliable system for helping independent consultants find better clients. The newsletter attracts attention. A free diagnostic builds trust. The course provides the complete process. The membership offers implementation support. A consulting firm can then license the framework to train its own team. You are no longer manually teaching the same lesson to one person at a time. Your knowledge is being distributed through multiple channels, at multiple price points, around the clock. AI makes this much easier, but it does not replace the valuable part. It can transcribe your explanations, organize recurring questions, turn long material into different formats, update knowledge libraries, and personalize learning paths. Your experience supplies the judgment, the technology handles the repetition, the strength of intellectual property is reuse. Create the core insight once, improve it through customer feedback, and let every new format strengthen the others. Asset number 2 is scalable code and automated systems. You do not need to build the next global software company. Some of the best digital businesses solve one narrow, irritating, and frequently repeated problem. That is the opportunity behind micro-SaaS. Small software tools built for highly specific users. A dashboard that reconciles transactions for a certain type of business. A tool that turns raw client data into a formatted report. A system that detects missing documents before an application is submitted. These products are valuable because the problem keeps returning. When the pain is recurring, the revenue can be recurring too. No-code platforms, AI-assisted development, and automation layers have drastically lowered the technical barrier. A non-engineer can now connect databases, payment systems, forms, and AI models to create a useful digital utility. But easier construction creates a new trap: building software nobody wants. The smarter process is to deliver the result manually first. Solve the problem for 5 or 10 real users. Observe which steps remain consistent, then automate those steps. Automated trading algorithms and DeFi protocols are another expression of code as an asset. They can execute rules, settle transactions, and distribute value without continuous human intervention. But automation does not remove risk. Bad assumptions simply lose money faster when they are encoded into software. Technical equity only becomes an asset when it includes security audits, exposure limits, monitoring, and a clear understanding of failure conditions. Code provides leverage because it can repeat a valuable action almost endlessly. The quality of that leverage still depends on the quality of the problem being solved. Asset number 3 is attention and media. A focused YouTube channel, podcast, newsletter, or digital community can become one of the most flexible assets you own. Not because followers automatically produce money, but because trusted attention gives you distribution. If you can reliably reach a specific group of people who share a problem, aspiration, or identity, you can introduce almost any relevant product without starting from zero. You can sell your own products, recommend other companies through affiliate partnerships, attract sponsors, recruit users for software, or validate a new business before building it. The real asset is not the follower count. It is the relationship. An audience of 10,000 people who vaguely recognize you may be less valuable than 1,000 people who actively use your advice. Sponsors selling expensive products care about relevance, trust, and purchasing intent. They do not only care about views. This is why depth is replacing broad, shallow reach as the more durable economic advantage. A niche audience may look small publicly while supporting a very strong private business. However, an audience that exists only inside one platform is rented attention. Algorithms change, accounts get restricted, reach disappears. The sovereign version connects media to assets you control. An email list, a customer database, a recognizable brand, and a library of content that can be republished elsewhere. Media creates attention. Ownership turns that attention into leverage. Asset number 4 is search intent real estate. This asset is less glamorous, but it can be extremely effective because it captures people at the moment they are trying to make a decision. Think of specialized websites, comparison tools, calculators, directories, resource libraries, and evergreen search pages. A media channel creates interest. A search intent asset meets existing demand. Someone looking for entertainment may watch a video and leave. Someone comparing accounting tools for a medical practice, calculating the cost of a commercial loan, or searching for a qualified supplier is much closer to taking action. A useful search asset helps that person make a better decision, then earns through qualified leads, affiliate commissions, featured listings, sponsorships, or subscriptions. The strongest opportunities usually involve decisions that are expensive, confusing, or fragmented. Do not build another generic blog. Build the best decision-making resource for one narrow market. Search platforms can change their rules, so the website itself should not be the final destination. Capture permission to continue the relationship through email, accounts, saved results, or direct partnerships. Search brings the visitor. Your owned system retains the value. Asset number 5 is proprietary data and intelligence. The internet has more information than anyone can process. What remains scarce is reliable information that has been cleaned, organized, updated, and placed inside a useful context. A historical pricing database, industry benchmark, verified supplier list, property tracker, market alert system, or specialized research library can become a standalone product. The value is not the number of rows in the database. The value is the decision it improves. Can your data help a customer price more accurately, detect an opportunity earlier, avoid a bad purchase, or understand how they compare with competitors? If it can, you may be able to sell access through subscriptions, reports, dashboards, or an API. AI can help collect, categorize, and summarize information, but trust is the moat. Every data asset needs clear sources, consistent definitions, regular updates, and human quality control. One unreliable number can damage the credibility of the entire system. Over time, a good data asset becomes harder to replace because it contains history. A competitor may copy your interface in a month. It cannot instantly reproduce years of verified observations. Asset number 6 is a niche marketplace. A marketplace owns neither the product nor the labor. It owns the system that helps two groups find each other and complete a valuable transaction. That could be a specialist job board, a vetted vendor directory, a booking platform, an industry-specific deal exchange, or a marketplace for a narrow type of digital service. Revenue can come from listings, subscriptions, transaction fees, lead fees, or premium placement. As more transactions occur, the marketplace gains reviews, behavioral data, supplier relationships, and credibility. Those elements make the platform increasingly useful and harder to replace. The challenge is the cold start. Buyers will not come without suppliers, and suppliers will not stay without buyers. The solution is to begin painfully narrow. Choose one side of the market and serve it manually. Recruit the first suppliers yourself. Curate every listing. Introduce buyers by hand. Only automate after you understand what creates a successful match. A marketplace is rarely passive in the beginning, but once it becomes the default meeting point for a valuable niche, the network itself starts doing part of the work. Asset number 7 is digital equity and cash flow rights. This is where capital can begin replacing labor directly. Instead of creating every asset yourself, you can own a share of assets built by other people. That might include equity in a profitable software business, a revenue-sharing agreement, rights to a digital catalog, or the acquisition of a small online property with established cash flow. The distinction is critical. You are not buying a number on a screen because you hope somebody else will pay more later. You are buying a legally defined claim on productive activity. That requires serious due diligence. Where does the revenue come from? How concentrated are the customers? Does the seller control the intellectual property? How stable is the traffic? What happens if a platform changes its rules? Can the numbers be verified independently? High advertised yield often hides high dependency, weak legal protection, or excessive risk. Never confuse automation with safety. The goal is to own durable cash flow rights, not to chase returns you do not understand. For most people, this seventh asset comes later. First, you build cash flow through your skills. Then you use part of that cash flow to purchase pieces of other productive systems. So how do you construct a sovereign portfolio without abandoning your current responsibilities? Begin by redirecting 20% of your working capacity. If you work 40 hours a week, that means 8 hours. Protect them as seriously as you would protect time promised to a client. During the first 2 weeks, list the problems you understand unusually well. Look for problems that are recurring, expensive, urgent, and shared by a clearly identifiable group. Then choose one asset. If people need education, begin with intellectual property. If they repeat a mechanical task, consider software. If information is fragmented, build a data or search asset. If buyers and sellers struggle to find one another, explore a marketplace. Spend the next month selling the outcome manually. This is where you learn what customers actually value. Do not automate guesses. Once people have paid for the result, document the delivery process. Separate the steps that require your judgment from the steps that can be handled by content, code, templates, AI, or another system. Your first milestone is not quitting your job. It is earning the first dollar that was not directly connected to an hour performed at that exact moment. Then earn it again. Reduce the labor required. Improve the reliability. Build own distribution around it. As digital dividends begin to appear, do not pour everything back into the same platform. Strengthen the original asset, but also move part of the profits into cash reserves and diversified productive equity. That protects you if a search engine, social network, payment provider, or marketplace suddenly changes the rules. The strongest position is not one stream of passive income. It is a portfolio of complementary assets. Knowledge that attracts trust, media that provides distribution, software that delivers value, data that creates a moat, and equity that compounds the profits. You may continue working hard, but your work will no longer disappear at the end of every hour. It will accumulate inside systems you own. That is how you stop selling time. Not by escaping work, but by making sure today's work can still pay you tomorrow.